Well, good evening, folks out there in the lands of lands. If you're watching this from Switch or Twitch,
Switch? What the fuck is Switch?
it's a new platform, out there that you can watch on the Nintendo Switch.
What up, Switch?
Yeah. If you're watching this from X, or if you're watching this from YouTube or Facebook or all those great places, welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We are live Wednesday night, August 14th, to discuss the DC Animated Universe film, Superman Unbound. That's right, Superman Unbound. Clap, everyone. Clap. That's good. Good job. Anyways, rocking it out tonight with us, of course, is one of our regular amazing panelists, Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy. And also out there, please give him a huge shout out. It's his birthday today, folks. Say happy birthday to Mr. Time Cop. Happy birthday. And then, of course, we have... Hey.
That was gay.
F you, sir. F you.
What can I? Anyways, we also have joining me, of course, my loyal co-host, Mr. Jeff S. TrueKnowledge. How we doing, Jeff?
I'm not gay, folks. I'm
There
not
you go,
gay, just
folks.
to be clear. Some might think some people have asserted it, but it's not true.
He is gay. He's gay.
No, I like vagina. I don't like bull dykes.
There you go, folks. No bull dykes. Anyways, we also have joined us Mr. Aston here with us, who's now becoming a kind of a guest regular now. He's becoming a regular panelist. How we doing, Aston?
Hey, shout out to everybody on the internet checking us out this Wednesday night. Thrilled to be here. Love being here with the crew, man. No pause. It's all good. Just love being here. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Thank you, Cyber. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Dre. And thank you, Jesse.
Shout out to our viewers on Switch. Switch, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, Switch, people. Yeah. All right. And also joining us, who it's been a while since we've had on the show. It's great to have him back, Mr. Jesse Starcher, who you can find on the Source Material Comics podcast on the W2M network. How we doing, Jesse?
Oh, man, I'm hoping to bring in that Xbox crowd. If you got the Switch crowd already, I'm hoping to bring in some Xbox people. How's that sound? Am I going to do it? Yeah. No?
Yeah. Bring in all those the PS players,
PS5,
PS5 players out there, any computer gamers. Come on down, watch this.
Gosh, it's good to be back, guys. I appreciate you inviting me on here to talk some more DC animated films. I'm excited.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited to talk about this one too. I was blown away. Just to start off here, I was really loved this movie. This was such a great, refreshing take that just really helped to re-elevate DC animated for me after those last two films we did, which were okay, mediocre, I felt, but this one definitely blows out of the park for me. I thought it was fantastic, really fun, and I thought a really great, well done film. Now, like I said, we're going to be talking about Superman Unbound, which came out in 2013, direct to DVD and Blu-ray, of course. It was released on May 7th of 2013. And, of course, this was directed by James Tucker, who has directed and been a part of other DC Animated Universe films. But this is like pretty much his solo directorial debut of any of the films, but he has been a part of quite a few other films. This movie has a very great cast, and it is just a really well-rounded film that, like I said, it was amazing. I was really impressed with it. The animation was good. The story was great, and it's actually a story I had never heard about before I actually researched a little bit about it after watching it. But Jeff Johns, if you know who that is, he was one of the producers, creators of the DC Extended Universe on TV for CW. He also is a comic book writer, comic book animator, and stuff like that too as well. He was running the DC universe up till 2018 and stepped down, and that's when we saw James Gunn and Peter Safran take over. He I feel has done a really great job of bringing to life a lot of great DC animated characters, and I think that his story that this is based off of was really done well, which was called Superman Brainiac, which is loosely based on the comic, this film, but it pretty much covers a lot of the aspects they said. So surprisingly, I was really shocked. This movie actually is 100% rotten fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with 5 reviews. I was really impressed with that. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, no way in hell. I was like, wow, that's really impressive, because like I said, this movie blew me away after watching the last couple that we've watched. I was like, wow, it's refreshing to see something that actually I really enjoyed and was entertained by. And I think this right here was it's worth that 100%. Now, the voiceover cast, which I think was really great. I really enjoyed who voiced the characters. I thought they were a lot better than last. The Dark Knight Returns that we just watched, the voiceovers, and that was horrible. Whereas this was a far better cry for sounding more like the characters and so forth. Matt Bomer playing Superman in this was fantastic. I enjoyed him. I thought he did a great job. We had Stanya Katic, who played Lois. We had Molly Quinn voicing Supergirl, a.k.a. Kara Terrell. And who, by the way, I'm sorry, but all those out there, this was the hottest Supergirl I've ever seen. Oh, my God. This Supergirl was so damn fine. I was like, holy shit. This is just too damn sexy. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's drawn really well. And then, of course, we had as Brainiac, John Noble. Now, John Noble, you might recognize from the show Sleepy Hollow. He played the Headless Horseman in that show. He's been in a few other things over the years. He was in a few of the American Horror Story seasons. He's been in a whole bunch of films over the years, and I really enjoy him. I think he does a great job doing voices, and I thought he was perfect as Brainiac. Molly Quinn also has been in a few shows over the years. She actually played Castle's daughter on the show Castle, which surprisingly, Stanya Katic was actually a part of that show as well, so they kind of like to keep these voiceover characters together, I guess, them working on similar projects. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So when this got released, after its official release and got sold in DVD and Blu-ray format, it actually ended up bringing in $3,490,820 in sales. So I think that's pretty impressive, between DVD and Blu-rays for a direct to, video release. So that's pretty good. So my first question for you guys, a little bit about the voice cast. What are you guys' thoughts on the voice cast? Did you like this voice cast versus some other ones we've seen? And just overall, what did you think of the voice cast? Starting with you, Andreas.
Yes. So, fantastic cast. I agree with you, Cyber. It's definitely better than The Dark Knight Returns. Very cool, actually, if you don't know this. I mean, Matt Bomer, great actor. If you haven't seen his work, from American Horror Story or White Collar, great show. He was supposed to be Superman in the mid 2000s. For it was the unproduced project Superman Flyby. This is before Superman Returns came out, and he was the long list of actors considered to be Superman. So it was really cool that they cast him to be Superman in this animation film, and that was really great. And he's fantastic. He's a good Superman. I like him. He's definitely up there as one of the best actors that voiced Superman. Yeah, and oh my God, I'm a huge Brainiac fan, and I love John Noble. He's a great actor. He was in The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, which was crazy when I watched that. He's also the voice of Scarecrow from Arkham Knight. If you played that game, he was fantastic in there. He's a great voice actor for Brainiac. So yes, I really love this cast. It's amazing. They're just really awesome.
Excellent. Jesse.
Yeah, the first thing that I'm looking for is kind of like what you guys were talking about. If it's a decent cast, if it's a decent voice cast, then nothing should take you out of what is being said and all the action that's happening on the screen, because it's their voices that they kind of have to lean on to get across. It's kind of tough to do that sometimes, especially in an animated film. And everything came across just fine. Not a single one of these actresses took me out in any way. So I was able to stick with the film and being engrossed in it. I definitely appreciate John Noble's Brainiac here. John Noble, also one of my favorite actors from Fringe. He was, I think, Walter in Fringe, and absolutely love that series. I have no complaints, none whatsoever.
Excellent. Thank you. Aston, same question, sir. Your thoughts on the voice cast?
I would say it was definitely you could feel it was a step up from the previous movie for sure. I think Bomber really had a good tone, an adult tone for an older, sort of wiser. He played it well, played it pretty straight edge, gave what he had to, when it comes to, after all, it is Superman. Like it's not as much as I would say Conroy, what he did with the animated series. It's not that level. There is no one voice, but this guy did a really, really, really good job. Stana Katic did a great job too. I actually saw her and actually met Nathan Fillion when they was actually together way back out here.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's my little trivia for that. But yeah, John Noble from Fringe doing Brainiac. Like I couldn't put it, like I didn't put it together till I saw the credits roll at the end, and I was like, "Yo, that's where I heard that voice from, man." Jesse, sharp pick there, man, sharp pick. Like, but yeah, I thought it was solid all across the board. Not one voice jumped out at me like in the previous movie we reviewed, where there was actually a couple which came out, like even the Shiv guys, which Jeff seemed to love. But it was really good voice acting. Great, I would say props to the casting agent who put everybody in the studio.
Well, shout out. Thank you for that, Aston. Shout out to Booze and Chill, who's currently watching us on the shitter, which is great to know. Good to know that we're good reading material, watching material on the shitter. Thank you so much, Ramon.
That's the audience I wanted to bring in. The ones in the bathroom.
That's it. Yep. And shout out to Mr. Jassim in the comments too. Welcome to watching us too, sir. Anyways, Jeff, thoughts on the voice cast, sir?
No, I'm just kidding. I jest. I mean, I didn't even think about during the film, so I think it was pretty solid. Like I never had any reason or any point in my watch where I was at an impasse and had to like sit down and write down, oh my God, I hate the way that Brainiac is voiced or Superman is voiced or anything like that. Like everything just flowed. And so, it was well done. And I don't really know much about any of these actors or actresses, but they did a great job. The film was really good. I enjoyed Superman Unbound. It was definitely a nice contrast to Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2. Nice territory to go in DC animated wise after watching those two films, back to back. Way to break things up and get us away from the Bull-like universe.
100% agree there. That's right. Miss Russia, Mother, whatever there in the last one, what was her name? Bruno? Don't talk about Bruno. Anyways, great job, guys. Excellent. So getting into the movie itself, basically it starts off, we have Lois offering herself as a hostage who is caught in an aerial confrontation between her terrorist captors and Supergirl before Superman arrives to save the day. Soon after knowing Superman's civilian identity, Lois attempts to get Clark Kent to make their relationship public despite his fear of the consequences. But their argument is halted by a Daily Planet staff meeting before Clark leaves after being alerted to an approaching meteor. Intercepting it, Superman learns the meteor is actually a robot that he promptly defeats before activating his beacon and taking it to the Fortress of Solitude. With help from Supergirl, Superman learns the robot is actually a drone controlled by a being named Brainiac, a Kulon scientist who subjected himself to extensive enhancements, turning him into a muscular, red-eyed giant with computer-like components and enhanced physical abilities comparable to Superman's. Supergirl, horrified at seeing Brainiac's robot, reveals her experience with the monster. Brainiac had seized and miniaturized Krypton's capital city of Kandor prior to the planet's destruction, with her parents attempting to track him down before they mysteriously lost contact with Krypton. She is now worried that Brainiac will do to the Earth what he did to Kandor. So we'll stop there, because that's quite a bit there, a little bit right there at the beginning. I mean, the beginning part of this film, if you think about it, there's a lot going on. I mean, between the backstory of what happened to Kandor to kind of the new relationship with Kara, her just getting to Earth, learning to be an Earthling, learning about being Supergirl, and then we have the Lois and Superman debacle about their romance, their relationship. So we get right off to the start, we get a lot of information going on there. We learn a little bit about Brainiac, and we kind of get pushed right into this film, but it's not so much like information that it makes it overwhelming. It actually, I thought, was played out very well. Just thoughts. Hello. What are your guys' thoughts on that section of the film? And overall, just what did you like about it? Did you enjoy it? Did you find it interesting? How did you feel this film started off? Starting with you this time, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a really great start. Lois Lane is hot. She's totally fucking a fox for an animated female character, right? If you could say that, which I'm saying it. What a surprise.
10 all the way.
I've definitely said it before. I would definitely fuck an animated character in real life if I could. If it was a possibility, I would do it. And Lois Lane is like smoking hot. So what a contrast to Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, where every chick is a bull dyke. That shit is crazy. Bruno with all that shit with the knots, with the swastika, titty wraps and shit and all that, covers and all that. I mean, that shit's crazy. So it's a nice change up. Supergirl looks hot too. She looks young but hot, which is cool, right? I don't have a problem with that. And she's a good Supergirl too, she sets a good tone for herself as a character right off the bat, which is great. So that's not hard to sell Supergirl, I don't think. If you just come at it the right way right off the bat, and have it voiced well and all that, it's not hard to pull it off. So they did a good job with Supergirl's introduction. And Superman's introduction was really great. And it's really important to have that good banter between Superman and Lois Lane and shit like that, and like Clark Kent and all that. You got to have that banter there, right? If that's not there, it really takes something away from any Superman style content, I think. So there was really good chemistry there, which is good. And the only thing I didn't like was that they took away the typical using the news angle deal that they usually always do in a lot of these DC animated films to start the movies off. They'll have at least one section where it goes to the news and you go through the news and they do the news and tell you what's going on. I like that shit when they do it like that. So they didn't do that in this, and so that was that was a little bit of a takeaway. But how far did we go?
Up to when when Kara tells Kal-El about Brainiac taking Kandor, and that she's worried that he's going to do the same thing to Earth.
Oh yeah, Kandor is something else. If I was like Brainiac and I had all those cities in the Bat Cave or whatever, in my ship or some shit or whatever, I would enact prima nocta on the cities and miniaturize myself or some shit so I can go down there and handle my business. If you're not familiar with the folks out there in the audience, if you're not familiar with prima nocta, it's something from Braveheart. It's when the noble or the lord or whatever gets to bang like a chick when she gets married, you know? Like
I was
like,
on that
like,
episode, by the way. I remember
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
like, you know, so I would definitely, you know, like that's what I was thinking when I was watching that shit. But just to, you know, just to be clear, that's, you know, I'm surprised Brainiac wasn't doing anything like that, you know? I mean,
All right, thank you. Good job, Jeff. Once again, going for that Shogun Award.
good job,
Go
sir.
for that.
Good job.
Going for that Shogun Award so hard and so strong right out the get-go. Excellent. All right, Aston. Same question, sir. What did you think about that intro?
Good luck, motherfucker. That's right. I already
Yeah, you got to follow that.
Later,
Best of
bye.
luck.
Yeah, like, I have no idea how I'm going to follow that, but I'm gonna give it a good college try, as they say, right? So yeah, for me, I personally didn't like the animation style. It felt a little kind of Ben 10-y cheap, which was kind of the trend if you remember Cartoon Network in this era towards like the early teens. Like Cartoon Network's done now, which is sad. But yeah, I didn't care for the animation too much, sort of like I didn't for the previous two. I wouldn't say it was bad, like it meets the mark, but it's like it just felt kind of cheap for me, especially considering the content that they were going to discuss. I feel Lois was a little too much in focus. I don't like when she knows his identity so much in the animated stuff. Like I in general, I don't like it. I like the mystique and stuff, even though people are like, take the glasses off, but whatever. But I did like that they're going to be touching on Kandor, and that was the sort of arc they were going to run with on this one. So I feel the setup was good. It does also lean towards this being a little more of an adult thing. I keep forgetting Supergirl's name because I've just never been a super fan of her.
Kara.
Kara.
Yeah, Kara. Yeah, I was. I liked how they introduced her and they were setting her up. It didn't feel forced, you know. It really didn't feel, to quote our buddy there, Jeff, Butch Dykey. It wasn't like, you know, too girl bossy with her, which they easily could have gone that route. But nah, I like the setup of her character, and Bomber does good. Like him, he really does breathe voice into Cal and Clark. Like both of them, he does pretty well, and it works. It works. That's it from me. A very lackluster follow-up to the man, Jeff. But what can I do?
Well, it's kind of hard to follow behind Jeff because, you know, he's always dropping shit, so it's all good.
That's why Cyber never lets me go first.
I let you go first. I just let you go first. What are you talking about?
Yeah, one time.
No, I've let you go first several times, sir.
Oh yeah, okay. We only
Go back to other moderating shows, sir. You'll see. I've let you go first a few times. Don't try to be like that, sir.
You have.
Don't be sad.
You're fair.
Anyways, Jesse, same question, sir.
All right. Yeah, so I'm going into this show cold, essentially. I'm getting ready to put this movie on Max, right? And I have no idea what I'm getting into. Superman Unbound. What am I to expect? Okay. I have no idea what preceded this. Never seen the movie before. And as we get rolling, I think right within the first few seconds, you start seeing the credits. And I saw Jeff Johns' name and I was like, okay, I think I know what I'm getting into here. And Jeff Johns, love most of what he's wrote that I've read anyway. So I was excited to see what exactly we were going to be basing this on. And this is based off of Superman Brainiac, which came out in 2008. I think you already said that, but I was just looking at the covers of the comic, and I think I read that like shortly after it came out, completely forgot about it, but it was really good. I remember, really liking it at the time. So one of the things for me anyway, I mean, I don't know, you guys are watching these pretty consistently now. There's not really much of a continuity between films. So one of the things that you're kind of handicapped, especially with what you'd mentioned there, Cyber, is the fact that you have to do some exposition to give the viewer some idea of where they are at in continuity with Superman, because Superman is a Superman of the 40s. Is he married to Lois? Is he not married to Lois? What's going on here? Who's this, that? You know, where's he at in continuity when this film starts? And you also have to figure out a way of getting the viewer to understand the newer characters that are going to be kind of in here and what the relationship is. And so we got Supergirl. The way we bring in Supergirl is Superman's off doing something, and the criminals are, you know, they're smart. They figured it out. If he's off handling an earthquake, I can take care of, you know, we can rob whatever we want to rob. And then of course Supergirl shows up and saves the day. Superman shows up at the end and kind of does it as well. But so yeah, we get a great introduction to our main characters here and a good idea of where we're at when it comes to the continuity of Superman, especially with his relationship with Lois, because we don't, like I said, we don't know if they're married. So they're at this point where, you know, they're trying to figure out if they should have a relationship, Clark Kent and Lois Lane, and Lois Lane does know that he's Superman apparently, right? So there's that. But so they're trying to kind of dance around how to handle that. But I guess main point is I think they did a fine job handling all that and letting you know where they're at the beginning of this movie, and also bringing in Supergirl and showing you, okay, hey, here's Supergirl. She's a novice at doing this. Her powers, you know, she's not really she hasn't been doing superheroing as long as Superman has. So she's kind of getting this feel of her own power, but she's also got that childlike fear in her of some of the bad things that has happened to her and her family. And of course, when Brainiac, she gets wind of Brainiac, that all comes to the surface, and she has a lot of doubts and a lot of things. But you know, at that point I was like, well, maybe she doesn't realize how powerful she is. Now she has the chance. She could go punch Brainiac in the face and take care of business. So yeah, I'm excited. I was excited what we were getting into. I was glad to see it was adapted from a Jeff Johns book. And so have Superman Unbound. I'm ready to get into it.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Andres, the pop culture guy. Your thoughts, sir?
Yes. Yeah. So as a huge fan of Supergirl and Brainiac, I was very excited for this movie. Plus, very excited for them to adapt the, you know, as Jesse said before, the Jeff Johns run of Superman Brainiac, because that was the reintroduction of Brainiac in the like continuity of the DC at that time. And same, yeah. So, I thought this opening was fantastic. Like one of the things I always wish that the Superman films have done is always bring in other comic book fans in the films besides Lex Luthor and General Zod. So here it was really cool to see like a cool, you know, cool opening of, you know, like typical Lois getting in trouble. And you think you respect that Superman's going to save her, but then all of a sudden it's Supergirl. I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. Because, you know, Supergirl was not in the Brainiac run. So that was really cool, like different addition to the, you know, making this movie. I really dug that. And I really like that. And when Superman arrives, it's like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Like it's like Batman Robin, but it's Superman's and Supergirl. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, I love the bad guys being so cocky. It's like, I know Superman's over there, but I'm gonna take my chances. I'm like, dude, what? Are you stupid? You're gonna be dead if you hurt Lois. Because Superman is, you know, in love with this woman. So yeah, good for him being cocky, and it's like, oh, I know how to do this. And it's like, just like Superman just flipped the helicopter and like he went down to the
one
water.
hand.
Yeah,
just like that.
That was so funny. Yeah, and then after that, you get this cool scene of Superman doing the Hulk clap, like taking out the flames. That was really cool. And then you really got this cool emotional conversation with him and Supergirl, and you know how different they really are, you know, because Superman lived on Earth. You know, he had actually a good fortune of, you know, being human, you know, not Kryptonian, where Supergirl, she has to like get used to this like human culture, you know. And I really like that they really dug that relationship. That's one of the reasons I like Supergirl more than Superman, because I felt her conflict as a Kryptonian versus, you know, being human is fascinating than, you know, Superman. When I was growing up, getting into comics, and I really thought that this movie did a really good job of dissecting that. And the action, it's spectacular in the opening. Like when you see Superman go against, the Brainiac bot that's like probing Earth, it's visually spectacular. Something I wish we see in films. Yeah, and then after that, you got Kara. I like that scene with Supergirl with Mom Kent. That was a really sweet and tender scene, and and they know they cannot replace her parents and all that. So I really appreciate their honesty, and this is the only scene we get them, but I really appreciate that. That's the one thing I'm kind of happy they changed, was because in the book Jonathan died in the Superman Brainiac run, so I was happy they kind of got rid of that. We'll get into the post-credit scene. I don't know if they were going to do that if a sequel happened, but when we get to the Forces of Solitude, I really like the exposition of how Brainiac is, with Kandor. That's something has become like a main thing with Supergirl and Kandor with the Brainiac stuff. So I like how the way they did it here, and like Brainiac knew that like Krypton's gonna explode, so it made a lot of sense why he didn't like destroy Krypton. That was like a really good addition to the lore of Brainiac. So yeah, I was so happy. And one thing that this movie did right is they understood the Superman characters. That's the key thing for me, because sometimes the Superman like movies don't handle it well, like the live action. This, they knew everything what makes Superman tick. Like the relationship with Lois is like spot on. So yeah, I really love this opening sequence.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Excellent. All right. Yeah. So, in this section of the film too, I feel we get that brief conversation between Martha and Kara, where as she's kind of saying she's still learning and stuff like that, which I thought was really fun. We get to see Pop Kent, which was, I thought, interesting that they had him alive still in this particular storyline. And I thought that was done really well. And, we definitely, get kind of more insight into Kara, a little bit, really into this section of the film, I felt. And as we all have mentioned, how we thought, kind of how Supergirl is, and like, she's not really the hugest like character a lot of people enjoy. Like, I know there are some Supergirl fans out there, but I feel a lot of people don't really, unless you're a girl, you're really not big into Supergirl herself. And so I think that this film does a good job of bringing her into the light that gives her kind of a liking for all people. And I think that is a really great job in the writing and the animation and stuff like that makes her very appeasing to everyone to want to watch in this. And I just want to shout that out to, the DC animated universe for making such a great effort at making Supergirl such a great character in this film. Even though this is called Superman Unbound, I really feel that, Kara has a lot of great screen time throughout this film, and I enjoyed that. I thought that was a really clever writing by Jeff Johns on his part with his comic book. All right, so what is everyone's thoughts on the backstory of Kandor being taken that Kara tells to Superman? What did you think about that? Did you find that interesting? Did you think it helped with the story, pushing it along? And just overall, your thoughts kind of on that particular portion right at the end of this section of the intro. Because I thought that it was a great flashback sequence. I didn't feel it was forced. I didn't feel like it was too much. I thought it was just the right amount of giving you an idea of what Kara's going through and kind of what, Superman is up against here, and giving us kind of a nice, rounded kind of backstory that doesn't muddle anything. Starting with you, Aston.
Well, anytime you get to see Krypton is always a good thing in my experience, because you really don't have too many arcs, even in the Superman animated run, the classic one from the 90s, which we're all fond of and grew up with. There was maybe
You went muted, Aston, there.
You shall not pass.
Wait, I'm muted.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you again now. Yeah, for some reason you cut out.
I'm sorry. I think it's when I muted and unmuted because this doesn't have a switch on it like my other mics. So maybe something to do with the sound card. But you guys hearing me now? My bad.
Yeah, we're good.
In essence, anytime I get to see Krypton in anything is always cool because it's one of those mysteries growing up. Because even in the the Superman animated run, which we all grew up with in the 90s, like with Justice League Unlimited, I think there was maybe a handful of episodes where you see Krypton. You know, you have the intro, the classic one, and then after that, it's very sparsely interspersed throughout the narrative. So I feel it fleshed out the setting a lot more because Kandor is on Krypton, you know, so it's a piece of, whether we want to admit it or not, Cal's history too, because they're cousins, they're related. And like you said, Cyber, they didn't force it. It really did come across sort of like this organic storytelling of this great setting, which we didn't get a lot of with Clark's, you know, solo runs and his shows. So it never felt forced. The idea of him taking the city and keeping it also, it kind of feels like those sort of old stories we all probably grew up with, old folk, like Brothers Grimm sort of stuff. It had that sort of vibe to me. Okay, they went this way with Brainiac, so he's not just like this sort of, like in the earlier, like in the comics and stuff, or even in the first animation, I think, where we see him, he feels more like a computer, like, you know, really like a computer virus. Here it's like he's actually a being and a sentient thing, which infused both. And it was explained, I feel, a lot better than in the previous animated feature. So for me, anyone new coming into this could easily understand, okay, we're setting up Supergirl's arc here, and it just flowed. It really flowed well. So like Twist on a Beat back in 2008. That's about it for me. I'll leave it with that.
All right, thank you. To get you caught up there, Andreas, I was asking the question, you know, basically, what did you think about the backstory aspect that Kara reveals about Kandor and, you know, Krypton? I'm asking that question, so we'll go next to you for that.
It was handled very well. I mean, I seen so many versions of that from the video game, from Injustice 2. This was very good. It was well paced. I mean, first of all, it was really good how important it was for the arc for Supergirl for this film, as Aston said before. So I was really impressed about that, and I think that's one thing I like about this movie is how they use Supergirl in this film. Because I always liked the Superman Supergirl like cousin thing, and you know, I really appreciate that they delved into that, and the Krypton Kandor sequence was well done, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, there's not much to say. It was handled here. It's definitely my favorite of the like versions I see. So it was really well done.
Excellent, thank you. Jeff, same question, sir. What did you think about that backstory?
Jeff left. This is Zool. I am Zool.
Welcome, Zool. Tell me your thoughts.
There's only Zool now.
Okay, Zool.
I've been covered up by Happy Birthday Andreas by fucking Roaring Hammy. Thanks, Roaring Hammy. Appreciate it. This is Zool, baby.
What? We're in Ghostbusters now.
Now that I got my special dart lighting that I copied from Jesse Starcher, I can pull off Zool and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's right. I'm still trying to win that Shogun Award, bitch. What's up? What's up, bitches? Fuck you all up on the panel. I don't even play. I'm not even taking not taking any goddamn prisoners tonight. What's up? So the flashback shit was cool. The intro was really dope. The intro was fire, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, dude. I don't know what fucking Aston was talking about with the animation. The animation with this shit was fly. This is some fly ass animation, bro. The fucking the fight scene animation was dope. It was solid in this film. I was paying attention to it. I always do when I watch DC animated. And it was a definite upgrade. Unless it was just because they were covering Superman and not Batman. It was an upgrade from Dark Knight Returns, Part 2, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So yeah, since everybody else has already talked about the flashback, I just wanted to mention the intro was really dope, really solid, really well put together. Good job by the director. And I'm out, bitch. What's up? Let's do it.
Thank you, Zool. Great job. Jesse, your thoughts on that backstory?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we've got to set up our villain here, right? We've got to set up who Brainiac is. We got to. I don't know if that's for me or if that's for Jeff. I have no idea. What the
Zool?
Zool. Sorry, Zool. Zool got a standing ovation on his way out of here. So yeah, we got to set up our villain. What's bigger than a villain who can, like, I don't know, put a city in a bubble and shrink it? And obviously this bothers Supergirl because she lost a lot, just like Clark did, and they really didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, you know, for Superman to kind of dwell on the fact that, holy crap, you know, I've got my cousin here. I was the last Kryptonian at one point. Now I've got my cousin here. Oh, there's actually a city from Krypton that I could possibly that is being held prisoner by this maniac, Brainiac the maniac. So, you know, it's a great way to set this villain up, this collector, this guy who's going around taking cities and shrinking them, and the fact that Kandor is now possibly still out there, and Superman obviously now has a very, very good reason to go and put an end to Brainiac's meddling if he can. He needs to go find these people. He wants to find Kandor. He wants to find Brainiac and stop him. So it's a good way to set up our villain.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I agree there. It is a great way to set up the villain, give you kind of more of a backstory on the villain too, a little bit, even though it's a kind of a multifaceted backstory, a little bit about Kara's life, but also it's about Brainiac as well, and kind of what a little bit of his backstory is too as well. Because as the movie goes on, we learn more about Brainiac later on. So I think that it's a very great dual kind of history lesson for us all to set the movie up even more. So I thought they did a great job. So great job, everyone. All right. And Zool, you just got another 1,000,000 points for that hilariousness. Great job, sir.
One shot.
Anyway.
Another 1,000,000 to the bank, baby.
People are encouraging him by giving him points to do stuff like that. Well, this
of course. Of course.
Jesse, I'm in low key mode tonight, bro. Come on. You know what I'm saying? You know that. You know that.
That's nothing. You got caught. You got calm Zool here. But everyone else, because everyone's doing a great job. Everyone else gets 1,000,000 points too, because you guys are all doing it just beautifully tonight.
I'm gonna write
Excellent
that down.
job, everyone. Yes, write that down.
You can exchange that for a gift certificate for Shield massage and spa. Sir.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Great.
Coming to a city near you. All right.
Coming to Florida this month.
Yeah, coming to Florida. All right, so moving on with the film. So, fearing more drones will come, Superman flies through the galaxy with a Kryptonian spacecraft in an attempt to track down Brainiac before finding his drones attacking a planet. Though he attempts to stop them, Superman witnesses Brainiac capture the planet's capital like he did with Kandor before firing a missile to consume the planet and its exploding sun. The explosion knocks Superman unconscious, and he is brought on board Brainiac's ship. Coming to in the examination room, he fights his way through the vessel before discovering a room full of bottled cities and being attacked by Brainiac. At this point, confirming that he spared Krypton because of his eventual destruction, it is shown that Brainiac has been collecting information on all the planets he visited before destroying them. Using Superman's spacecraft and his telepathic abilities, Brainiac discovers that he has been living on Earth. Brainiac decides to chart a course to Earth while sending Superman into Kandor. Inside Kandor, his strength waning due to the artificial red sun, Superman meets his uncle Zor-El and Aunt Allura. They explain that Brainiac was instructed to learn all that is knowledgeable about the galaxy. Being a cyborg, Brainiac interpreted his directive literally and realized that he could not achieve his goal because life keeps changing. His knowledge of one world would become out of date as soon as he moved on to the next world. Brainiac therefore destroys civilizations after studying them so that they cannot change further, thus leaving him with literal, complete, and up-to-date knowledge of them. So we'll stop there. which is more backstory about Brainiac a little bit. We get more there by with Clark's family, his aunt and uncle there in Kandor. So, which I thought was more great backstory. So I thought they did a great job there. This portion, I really enjoyed this portion because we got to see, a Kryptonian city still thriving, still alive, even though they're, in capture mode because of Brainiac. We get more of Brainiac. We have that great conversation between Brainiac and Superman, and we get to see Superman kicking butt as usual. But at the same time, we get to kind of get another kind of aspect of his Kryptonian heritage in this portion. And I thought that was really fun because we've heard a lot about like Jor-El. We've heard about Zor-El and Allura and, Clark's parents and all this kind of stuff. And really, we've gotten in some of the movies a little bit about them, but not really that much. And so it was nice to kind of get a little bit more backstory on some of his relatives. And I liked that they had that included in this storyline. And I loved that fact. And I thought that made this film really enjoyable. So my next question for you guys is, what did you think about this section? What did you think about the next backstory, telling us more about Brainiac? And what did you think about, Superman, finally meeting his aunt and uncle? What did you think about Kandor and it being miniaturized and all that kind of cool stuff? Starting with you, Jeff.
Oh man, I'm busy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So what's up with the people like in Kandor? Do they just like stop fucking or something? Like because of Brainiac? Do they like Brainiac give them pills or something? And they stop fucking? Because like the city got cut into pieces when like the fucking bubble like came in, right? So wouldn't the population get out of control from from reproduction in the city?
I've got an answer to that question, but I don't know if it's right. So they said that Brainiac has stopped them from aging, right? It's like that.
Yes.
So I assume that.
Yeah.
All the reason why I should assert prima nocta.
I was going to say, you can go down there and fuck all you want, buddy. Nothing's going to happen. So I just assume that nobody can get pregnant because nothing is going to age in any way. So that's my guess, though. So there you go. That's
oh man, we got Brainiac halting reproductive cycles over here and shit, bro. Oh,
that's what I'm going to be known for from here on out. Guaranteed.
I know everything. I'm everything. I'm everything.
That's my guess. That's my guess. Damn it.
You're not me. I'm me. I'm everything. So yeah, Brainiac is something else. We've got into Brainiac, haven't we? By now, we've tasted Brainiac.
Yeah.
Oh, we tasted him.
Yeah,
we've tasted him a lot here in this portion because he's on his ship.
He tastes like grape jelly because his suit has like purple or whatever colored jewels on it and shit. So he tastes like grape jelly, bitch. As Superman because he beats his ass later on in the movie. Spoilers. Beats the fuck out of him. There you go. So I love it. I love the Lois Lane character. She's really solid in the film. We like most of her scenes in the film are during the beginning and then the second part of the film, or the second part of the movie. That's really the only time you really see her in it. And she was good. She was a really good part of the film in terms of being a secondary character and establishing something else besides the motif of just Superman beating up bad guys and all that. It just adds another layer to things. Of course, like all the people from the paper are all like there, the scenes with Kara are really good. She definitely adds another element to the film as well, makes it more robust, I guess, and makes the time more enjoyable to see the change up, right? How far do we go? Are we going, Cyber?
Batman captured, right? Or
we're going up to after Superman basically has this conversation with his aunt and uncle, and basically we learn about kind of what makes Brainiac thrive? What his purpose?
Oh,
is?
so when Superman gets micro sized down to the Kandar? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Like if I was Superman, I would have put the moves on that dude's wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine? It's been 30 years. She hasn't aged and shit, right? Like, and all this shit. Like, she hasn't seen that. You come in like an alien, look like an alien like that, and all that shit. Like, that like, chicks are now I really dig the alien vibe. The whole like, that's some new D up in there.
You talking
So-
about Zont?
Yeah. Oh, is that who that was? Zot?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zot's wife. She was fine. She was looking good, bro. Zot's like, I know how that is. Ha 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 ha. When Superman says some shit about some shit about women or Lois Lane or whatever, Zot's like, shit's the same over here, bitch. We might be micro-sized, but it's the same shit with these women. The culture is the same, bitch. Let's do it. You can't get out of here, Superman. It's not possible. You're stuck in the fucking bubble. We only get enough to survive.
Okay. Is that anything else, sir?
Give him 1,000,000 points.
Just want to let you know out there, the MCU at Bleeding Edge does not, I repeat, does not endorse incest. Just to let everyone know. Anyways, is that all, Jeff? Is there anything else more?
We also do not support abstinence.
That we do not. Yes.
Apparently not.
Anything else, Zool?
No. Zool out. Zool
Okay.
out.
All right.
Oh,
Andreas, same question.
Good luck coming up into that, motherfucker.
For your answer, sir, fuck you, you motherfucker. And what the hell was that? I think I need to take a shower now. After this moment, I'm like, what the hell is probably Jeff? You lost your mind without even doing drinking games, and you just went berserk.
I'm winning
Anyway.
the Shogun Award. I'm winning the Shogun Award. What are you doing?
Okay. I'm not winning the Shogun War. I just want to review my favorite movie.
I know that.
My favorite Superman villain, and then you just do this thing that you just do. It's just ridiculous. Anyway,
he turns everything into the squirt games. I feel that's what I feel.
Everybody contributes differently on the panel, sir.
that's true. I'm not criticizing you. You're funny. You're funny, man, sir. I gotta say, bravo. That was the best Shogun moment ever of this show. I gotta say, that made me laugh. Actually, the hardest. It's just like, what the hell? Anyway, so this section, so Brainiac has such a bizarre and complicated history. I was very impressed that this movie gave his background very well. Like, I like that they did a good job of saying, look, he's from this planet. He enhanced himself with cybernetic, implants. Okay, good. I agree with Aston. It's always it depends on who takes on Brainiac. He sometimes leads into like cyborg Brainiac or like like a incendiary kind of Brainiac, and this like makes a lot of sense. Like he's like enhanced with cybernetic parts. That makes sense. I like that direction. Seeing Superman being shrunk into Kandor, it's nothing new. That's from the comic book, so that was really cool they did that. And I think he was shrunk in the Brainiac run, so that made a lot of sense they did it here. I really like that they oh my god, no, not my Brainiac. Oh my god, you motherfucker. I had to shake it to you, sir. That was impressive. Anyway, F you, Mr. Jeff, sir. Anyway,
Still fucking the panel up from the sidelines, bitch. What's good?
Yes, you're very impressive. You're getting that Shogun Award tonight, sir. 1,020 plus points. Anyway, um, so a very impressive the Brainiac backstory, and it was really cool that he saw the aunt, Kara's parents, because sometimes Kara's parents do die. We don't like see them in the Kandor city. So like this is taking the Silver Age where her parents are still alive, and they actually help Superman to defeat Brainiac towards the end, which is really neat. It's like very subtle if you pay attention to that, and it was cool how he got out of the bottle. Like one thing I really appreciate about this movie, they make Superman smart. Like
We're not even going that far, dude. He's still in the bubble that on our cutoff. What's up?
I'm talking. Shut up. Namas. Take it. Just stop it. Please. Stop it. I know you will. Yes. Thank you. That's all I have to say. I don't want to get in trouble with Cyber. And F you, Jeff, again. Yeah. Peace out.
Good job, Andreas. Great job. Once again, happy birthday. Anyways, Jesse, your thoughts, sir?
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, I only have like really a couple things that I want to talk about in this section. Number one, what a way to kind of justify why Brainiac does what he does. Like, I mean, I understand before this, I knew that Brainiac went and he got the city of Kandor and put it in a bottle. So I knew all that coming into this, but them explaining that he destroys the planets after he does that specifically just so he does not have any other knowledge that society or planet can get further than him. That's a villainous motivation right there. The other thing that I have, we talked a little bit about the animation here. I'm not a big animation guru. I don't know much about it, but there was definitely what I felt like an anime style to some of the fighting. Like when Superman would get blasted, I mean, all of a sudden I'm like, I watched a little DBZ, but I remember the flashes and the big stretched out and the screaming and all that. And that's kind of what it reminded me of, a little bit of anime kind of mixed in here a little bit. Didn't make me go, oh, this is disgusting or anything, but it definitely made me appreciate that what the influences seem to be there. So whenever Superman was getting involved with either the robots, the droids, the Brainiac droids, or fighting Brainiac in the first place, man, some of that fighting was insane. Oh, and by the way, Brainiac blob, and all you see is his head, and he's just like in this big encased thing. What a way to like show him off. Like he's just like this head inside this big, massive mound of like machinery. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? So interesting way to bring it all together. And that's all I'll say.
Excellent. Thank you, Jesse. Aston, please.
Hey, Chief, I got the sweat patches from hell right about now. So when you put the trailer on, I'm definitely switching the shirt out, man. If I put the camera up a little bit, I got the ceiling fan like I'm in Havana right about now, man.
All right. Wow, sir.
We need to get like Old Spice or Tag to hook us up. ASAP. Like heat wave, man. 35 without AC, but I will endure. But the only thing I would touch on
this considered advertising with us until they found out they're going to have to deal with Zool for the negotiation process.
Cut Zool the check, guys. We need that check, or at least I need the DO to save me from the BO.
I'm Zool. Buy some Old Spice.
Exactly. But coming back to Superman Unbound, when it comes to this specific part, I mean, for me, the one part that I really did like in that whole combat was the inevitability of Brainiac. They really did he really does feel like this ominous, inevitable, immovable force, because he'll just keep throwing these drone cyborgs at you, and his just indifference towards everything, like the guy did a great job, John Noble, like really hands down. the voice acting, and he probably didn't have much to work with, like he probably just got like, because he didn't have all that much dialogue, but the way he did everything from the pausing to that very deep tone he had, like even when like Superman wakes up and realizes, yo, I'm trapped in this jar, and he like the futility of him like punching the floor and like the red sun, everything, it's the way a villain's supposed to be. He is one of the best villains in the gallery for Superman, because other than him, you got like Gene Hackman trying to mess with him, and it's Zod, and this was really like, okay, this guy can really put it. He might not physically be there, but he will really outwit this guy, because Lex, he'll outsmart Lex here and there, but you ain't outsmarting this guy that easy, because he had all those steps, and just like Superman, it clicks to him in one of those eureka moments during the imprisonment. But up until then, like the helplessness, to see him helpless, that was just awesome to me. So yeah, that's my takeaway from that segment.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. So to kind of give us a breather here for a second, we're going to show you the trailer to let you know what we're talking about. And some of us are going to probably change shirts. So yeah.
There you go.
Kara,
It was only a couple of months ago.
tell me.
We were helpless. Our army threw everything we had at them, but they were unstoppable. No!
You've seen these before.
A lot of them.
On Krypton?
And Kandor, the capital, the day it disappeared.
A whole city disappeared.
It calls itself Brainiac.
I am flesh and machine. I am the strength of 10,000 worlds.
These probes must be how he searches for planets.
If that thing's here, it's all going to happen again.
No, we can beat him. Millions of lives. They all need to be freed.
Go!
You have already failed. Soon, Earth will be mine.
We'll see about that.
Such a savage world.
It gives me strength. Welcome to Earth.
Excellent. I'm sorry, but this movie was just so freaking action-packed too. Superman was amazing in this. He kicked ass, literally. He just tore down everything, and it was just so freaking cool. It really felt like he was Superman, like he was the Man of Steel in this. And I love that the title Unbound really is present throughout this film, and I thought that was really great. So from that trailer, gonna ask another question. What did you guys think about the action in the film? Did you enjoy it? Did you think this movie had really great action? And overall, what did you think about the action in the film? Starting with you, Jesse.
Yeah, absolutely agree 100%. Watching when you look at the title, Superman Unbound, it's a matter of like, okay, he's going to be unleashed. He's going to get the opportunity to let go and really wreck something. So there are quite a few moments just watching him go up against the oh my goodness, the drone bots or whatever they were. That was fun, especially when they start invading Earth and he kind of gets the opportunity to cut loose down there too. It's a great way to showcase Superman using just about every single power that he has and using it to destroy something, which is not normally what he does, but the robots, you can kind of get away with it. So that's what kind of makes this over the top. But Yeah, I'll agree 100%. The action in this, it was great and well paced too, in my opinion.
Excellent. Jeff, your thoughts on the action, sir?
Oh, well, it was all really well animated. I mean, you saw the trailer. Right from jump, the colors just pop. And it's very vivid. It's very clear looking. And, you know, the animation, it's very clear looking. Everything looks very distinct and like very clean. You know, like Batman The Dark Knight Returns was a little bit, it wasn't because of the aesthetics of Gotham or anything like that. It was just because of the animation. It was a little bit drabby at times during the action scenes. It was a little bit boring. And the action scenes in this movie are very alive. And it's because of the animation, the colors pop. You know, whenever there's a sun involved, they do a great job with the way the sun looks, you know. Basically, as Jesse said, Jesse's hard to go after, to be honest with you. But after what Jesse said, it was well paced, like Jesse said, and well distributed throughout the film, to where, you know, every other time that there would be like straight compositional scenes where there was dialogue, you'd get action right after that, almost, right? Whether it was Supergirl, whether it was Kara, whether it was Superman, you'd get action, right? Whether it was flashback, something like that, there was always action. So, like, again, that intro was really well done, like really well put together. I like, seriously, it was really well done. It really stood out to me when the movie first started. Whoever put that together did a really great job, and they did a really good job of animating Superman and Kara in this. You know, with their flying and everything, and their fighting and all that. You know, like Kara looked great. Supergirl looked great in this. You know, so hats off to the animation department on this one. They killed it. You know, without question. I don't know if they made money off this, but I hope they did. But I don't know how much this movie costs. They don't have a budget listed on the Wikipedia, unfortunately. They never really. They honestly don't usually have one when we do these DC animated films. But that's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. Aston, your thoughts, sir, on the fighting, the action in the film?
I felt it was very consistent. I thought pretty consistent, because what happens is you assume that Superman's going to just annihilate everything, which he usually does. He doesn't usually meet his match unless it's someone like Metallo, who might be utilizing a certain type of you know, there's always some sort of super thing that can level him out. The way they leveled him out here, the fight sequences definitely were amazing. Like, I'm never going to say that the fight sequences weren't good. Like, they really did. The way the punches connected, the way he was taking out those sentries, it definitely showed you some more impactful scenes with Superman, and him just almost being matched in certain times. You know, like, it's very hard to make, I feel, engaging fights for someone like Superman. It's a lot easier for someone like Batman, who, you know he's immortal. He's going to use martial arts. He's going to use his brain a lot more. And having to see Kal, not be able to, you know, just plow through everything and actually have to work around it, I really enjoyed it. So that made the fight, no problems with the fight. It was all very consistent with stuff in the comics and here. You know, he wasn't too powerful. So maybe one thing was a little out, you know, for me, but, you know, if we're going to go with the continuum, it all holds very, very well. Very true.
Excellent. Thank you. Andres, your thoughts on the action, sir?
The action was spectacular. I said before in the beginning. One thing I really appreciate, you know, because Jeff brought up the Dark Knight Returns. I mean, this movie is not trying to be the Superman Brainiac comic run, like, because the Dark Knight Returns was trying to emulate the Frank Miller drawings. So for this movie, I like that they didn't went with that. So they just did their own style, which was great. And I think Austin or Jesse brought up, like, it looked anime. So I kind of appreciate that kind of style they did here. Plus, you know, I agree with you, Austin. It's like, animation is so much good for Superman because you can allow him to do a lot of big and spectacular action set pieces than live action because the budget, where animation you could be very creative and all that with Superman and his powers, and this movie is no different. They done a really good job of being creative with Superman, and I say before they done a really good job of characteristic Superman as a smart person. Like he can get out like situations in a good way without being like punching. Like a lot of people complain, it's like, oh, he's not doing this or doing that. No, this movie does like 100%. Okay, here's full action Superman. Here's like smart Superman against the villain. And I mean, Brainiac he's like the number one villain people want to see, and this movie does a really good job of showing him versus Brainiac in the action, which is really good. But I really appreciate the action here. It's one of my favorites of the DC animation movies.
Excellent. Thank you. Good job, everyone. All right. So, getting into kind of the final act of the film, basically, Superman formulates a plan to escape, and he escapes Kandor using the subjugator robots, for which he basically kind of eggs them on and then basically destroys them so that they'll be sucked back up and he gets brought back out that way. From there, Superman disables Brainiac's ship and takes Kandor with him back to Earth. At that time, Lois learns from Supergirl why Superman left and alerts the Pentagon of a possible invasion by Brainiac, who eventually repairs his ship and arrives in Metropolis. Despite everyone doing their best to fend his drones off, Metropolis is encased in a bottle, and both Superman and Supergirl are captured. Having hooked Superman up to his ship, Brainiac reveals that Earth offers nothing to him, tortures Superman by overloading his mind with data, and attempts to destroy the planet. However, telling his captor what Earth means to him, Superman breaks free and then frees Supergirl and convinces her to stop the solar aggressor from hitting the sun. Remembering Zor-El's words about Brainiac ideals, Superman knocks him out of his ship and they crash into a swamp. As he fights Brainiac, Superman forces him to experience the chaos of life itself outside of the safe artificial environments he has created. Eventually, the combined strain takes a toll on Brainiac, and he combusts. After restoring Metropolis, taking Kandor to another planet similar to Krypton to restore its normal size, and establishing a Kryptonian colony where they can rebuild. Superman makes his love life with Lois public with a marriage proposal. And that's how the film ends. We'll get to the post-credit scene here in just a moment. But basically, the end portion of the film, I thought was really action-packed as well. I thought it was really well written. I really enjoyed, how, Superman basically finally defeats Brainiac. Because throughout the film, Brainiac, everything that Superman throws at him, he always just bounces right back. And that type of mentality or that type of character that Brainiac is, who basically is almost indestructible, is very similar to how they portrayed him in Smallville. And I enjoyed how they, that Brainiac basically is very similar in this aspect, and how they portrayed him in live action form, I thought was very similar, except for the actual look of him in the cartoon. He's very alien-like, where they have him in Smallville. He's a lot more like, just like this kind of, like almost software that encapsulates this person's body, basically. So I thought this was interesting, a different look at him. I never had seen him in this form because I had never read any of the comics with Brainiac in it. So this was my first time actually seeing Brainiac in his comic book look. So I was really surprised at what he actually looked like. But overall, I thought that, this end section is really fun. We have some great moments here. We get that great scene where Lois is looking out the window of the Daily Planet, as Brainiac is looking in on it after he shrunk it. We got that great scene where, Superman basically breaks out of being hooked up, which was really awesome. And that fight sequence with the robots and all this kind of stuff was just really cool. And I thought that this whole section was really done well. So my question for you guys is, what did you think about this final act of the film? And was there anything that you really liked about this section and just your overall thoughts on it? Let's start with you, Aston.
Me, it was just, it didn't feel, you didn't really see it coming, so to speak. It wasn't, phoned in or telegraphed. It was, and the way it was sort of a shared victory, because you still had Kara really stepping up. They shared that victory, especially the way he busts out, he tells her what's going on. Everything just works together in such a good tandem that I really did enjoy the closing parts of those scenes, because, when he is beaten down and he has to figure it out, he figures it out in such a way that it shows you the human side of him is also as important as these superpowers he had. And once he gets recharged and he starts, wreaking havoc on everybody, and, she turns around and comes to join him in that fight, it was just pretty well done. Like, very good animation with the fights, as, Jesse and Jeff had touched on earlier. Like, it really works well to get you to the end of the movie. You don't want to skip through it. It doesn't feel phoned in. It's obviously, Superman is going to win, but it doesn't feel too predictable. And that's what I really loved about that part of the movie. Like, the pacing, the consistency from his powers to the way they work together in the finale of everything. Just even Lois, like, at times it does feel like they're giving her a little too much camera time, but they humanized it, from the guy making a pass on her to, like, hey, if it's the end of the world. And I love that voice actor, Dietrich Bader, I think it is. Just great. Those few bits and pieces really put it all together. The one thing I didn't like was when they kind of were being able to take these robots out, like Lois kicks a chair and stuff. Okay, that was the one gripe I might have had with stuff, because, like, hold up, like, we got two Kryptonians here who are like some of the best things we got on the planet, and you're taking them out by kicking a chair and pushing a desk, and there was some lapses there, but outside of that, terrific. Thumbs up from me.
Excellent. Thank you. Jeff, thoughts on that finale?
Well, Brainiac was a formidable villain. I compare him to Ultron somewhat, from Age of Ultron, right? With his robot, that he has, those robots that he employs, that he seems to have, like, in numerous amounts of, like, numbers, right? Like, they come out of nowhere, out of that tiny ship. There's, like, millions of them. I don't know how they make that work with space and shit. I'm surprised none of them robots don't ever get pissed off by having no private space. Like, come on, bruh. I'm fucking sleeping next to fucking, like, a million other fucking robots next to me and shit. It's all cramped. The fuck? I feel like I'm in prison, Brainiac. What's the deal? Come on now. Don't even play. No. So, solid ending. Brainiac was a formidable villain. He was very formidable on his ship, without question. That was a very great dichotomy for them to use in the final battle, to try to validate Superman's ability to beat the fuck out of him the way he did, because he beat the fuck out of Brainiac. I loved it when he put that mud on him, and he's like, how does it feel to be all have mud on yourself and shit, with bugs and shit and everything, and you feel it? You feel the bugs and shit or whatever, and all this shit, I wouldn't want to have that mud on me. I'd be thinking about the bugs too. I'd be like, there's bugs in here? Oh, fuck. Get them bugs off of me. I'd be like, fuck fighting. Get these bugs off of me, bro. That's just disgusting. I can't be having bugs on me with the mud. No good, bro. Brainiac did not like that. That fucked him up. Then he got his ass beat some more. So great job with the character arc of Kara in her role in the film was handled very well. Great closeout. Seeing them fight the robots was like Age of Ultron, bro. Without question. It was like Age of Ultron, without question. That's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching it. I was like, yo, Age of Ultron, bro. My favorite Avengers film. No, I'm just kidding. One of my top favorite, though. It's hard to pick them in order. But Age of Ultron does not get its credit. I'm telling you. The shit is dope. Everybody knows they love it. So no, people need to stop lying. No, great ending, great animation, great film, great ending battle. Great job with the popping of the ring for the marriage. That was very sentimental. You know, I got a little Zool got a little teary eyed on that one. Zool.
Oh, that's so sweet.
There is no true knowledge. There is only Zool. Zool says thumbs up. Let's do it.
Good job, sir. All right. Andreas, same question, sir.
A+ finale. A+. Spectacular. I really dug it. I want to just bounce back on Jeff. I was so happy what they did with Kara's arc. One of the best. I like how Superman told her, look, you have all this power on Earth. You can stop him. And I really appreciate that, like, pet talk, because one of the things I like about Superman, you know, all of us were like by Superman that he inspires people. So I really like he inspired Kara to be better and, you know, and fight for once, you know, with this threat that has hunted her whole life. And so I really appreciate that. So really fantastic arc. I'm a huge Supergirl fan, and I think that this movie did such a good job of handling her character, because they could gone either way, but they did such a good job on what they did with her in her arc. So I'm really happy about that. And yeah, it's, you know, Brainiac. I love Brainiac. I always want to see Brainiac versus Superman, and this movie really gave that to me. I mean, he's such a fascinating character. You know, he you know, like, he's an alien. He's like a sci-fi thing for Superman to do, and I like that. And just like Superman 2, I like how Superman defeats Brainiac. Obviously, this is from the Jeff Johns run that he defeats Superman by taking him to Earth, and like he uses his senses to like overwhelm him, and which I love that. That's such a cool concept, and I really like that they kept that from the story from Jeff Johns and bringing it into the movie, and it was so spectacular. Like, I just like how Superman just teases him. See, just like Man of Steel, how he told General Zod, it's like, look, Zod and Brainiac, I've been on Earth for so long. I hold my senses, and unlike you, you're in your little, you know, little turtle, you know, shell, and here you go. Here's all your senses and all that, and it's like so crazy. And then the way he burns up was crazy. Like, it's yeah, like very horror like. So but yeah, that was really cool. And yeah, you know, Lois Lane, him getting married to Lois Lane was a cool, you know, end, which is great. I mean, you saw, you know, the relationship was kind of rocky, but it made sense. I like that they don't make Lois like a jerk. Like, she was very reasonable for Superman, and you know, she was trying to be supportive with him. So I really appreciate this version of Lois, which is great. And I thought that ending was like very sweet that they got married, which is great, because I prefer Superman and Lois being together and like be married and have a family. Like, I prefer that version now. But yeah, love the finale. I'm very excited to talk about the post-credit scene, which I was like, really? They did that? So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Jesse Starcher.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
This when I finished the movie, I was action packed. You know, it's action packed. It's everything that I was kind of wanting this Superman Brainiac fight to be. You know, Brainiac, I want to say he's got to be treated well, and sometimes he's not treated well, especially in, you know, if he's being handled by somebody else that's trying to tell a story or tell a card, you know, use them in an animated style or something like that. So I was really worried at first, but they did great. They did a great job with the character, making him a valid villain, somebody that, you know, definitely is going to be a thorn in Superman's side if Superman does not do something about it. Now, the other thing I was sitting there thinking of is like, is there a reason or a through line of what you're supposed to kind of learn from this film? Like, is there something like that? And the only thing I could really kind of come up with was like just overcoming your fear. I mean, it's kind of out there, right? You know, the Supergirl's got to kind of overcome her fear throughout this film, where she's deathly afraid of what Brainiac can do, and Superman's got to talk her into that. Not only that, we have on the smaller end of things, and as we end the film, it's definitely appeared to me that Lois and Clark were kind of keeping things hush hush for a little while, and they were kind of afraid of how the public would. I don't know if they were afraid of how their friends would react. I don't know. There just seemed to be like a bit of fear. And then finally at the end, when all, shit's hit the fan and they're kind of recovering, and he reaches over and he's holding her hand. And at first they're kind of hesitant, and then they're just like, screw it. What are we worried about? And they overcome that fear of like just being a couple in front of everybody. And lo and behold, Clark gets down on one knee, and that actually took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting them to go from like, kind of a quiet couple to like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and propose right out here in front of everybody. So there's that. That's a big leap. That's a big bit of overcoming some fear. And then to round it all out is Brainiac, who a part of, and this, I think this is said in the film, part of living is overcoming that fear, right? You got to, in order to kind of move forward in life, there are fears that you have to face and overcome. And I love at the end the fact that living, as the mud is covering Brainiac and Superman's just watching him try and deal with everything, as a fly lands on his hand or something, and Brainiac just can't comprehend. He's overwhelmed with living. And that's what his downfall is. That's what kills the Thing, is actually trying to conceive all this shit that's going on around him, how to live. And he burns up. And it's a great, as he crumbles in this horrified, like skeletal form, and he's just flames going off of him. It's a great way to end it. So yeah, absolutely a great way to, it was a great film. I enjoyed myself. Had a great time.
Excellent. Thank you. So, like I said, there is a post-credit scene that basically affirms that, that Mr. Brainiac still has some sort of life left in him. So, basically, it kind of gives us a little intake like, oh, is this the last we'll see of Brainiac? So, what are you guys' thoughts on that post-credit scene? Starting with you, Andreas.
Oh, boy. Many ideas. I was like, oh, we're gonna get a sequel for Brainiac coming back. I'm like, yes, and we did not get that, unfortunately. I don't know if they're like, because this came out during the 75th anniversary of Superman in 2013, and Man of Steel came out that same year. So I don't know if they were trying to like pump up Brainiac as being the next villain if they made the Man of Steel sequel. I don't know that was their initial plan before Batman v Superman, but because like forever, like the Superman live action was tried to get Brainiac to be the main villain. It just never happened, and I don't know. Like I like the post credit scene. Like I like that they say that maybe we can continue more, which I kind of wish they did, but unfortunately we didn't get that because they started to do their own shared universe, and unfortunately they didn't do that.
Excellent, thank you. Jeff, or Zool, I should say.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, all that happened was that little box turned on, so I don't know really how that turns into like becoming Brainiac. So I mean, obviously we'll have to see what happens. I'm not really sure. My guess is as good as everybody else's as far as what happened at the end credit scene there. Overall, great film. Really enjoyed Superman Unbound. Nice bounce back for DC animated films coming off of the Batman Dark Knight Returns, which are good films. Don't get me wrong. They're good DC animated films. They're just very set in a very different tone than Superman Unbound is set in. And Superman Unbound was just a really nice change up for me.
All right. Thank you. Aston?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the finale.
Oh, you touched your microphone and now we can't hear you now.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, sorry, my bad, guys, my bad. Yeah, I enjoyed it as much as the good DC animated features are, which most of them are, thankfully. I really enjoyed it. I don't know, like, I think you asked me, didn't you ask me earlier about the finale? I'm not sure if I
No,
answered already.
the post credit scene.
The post credit. Well, that's, now we can debate whether they jerked that off Marvel or Marvel jerked it off them, but I thought it was nice. It did set things up, and sadly, when I was checking out IMDb, because I don't remember there being a follow-up to this when I first saw it, and like, there was no follow-up, so like, yeah, it was nice because I had it rolling in the back while I was doing something else, and then I'm like, let me bring that back, and yeah, there was an end credit scene, which sadly didn't lead to much, but it was nice. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Jesse.
So I turned the movie off at the credits. I had no idea there was a post-credit scene until you guys started talking about it. And I just read what was on the wiki there. And I turned it off and started watching the new Batman series and had no clue what's going on. But obviously it sounds like, number one, we know some of the live action stuff. Some villains get killed off and they're gone for good. There's no way you kill off Brainiac. And, there's just no way you kill him off for good. So that's clearly, we're setting something up here just in case he can pop back up at some point. Possibly, you never know. And that's kind of the way it happens in the comics anyway, is Brainiac always seems like he's defeated and then he's turned into some kind of hard drive, something like that, So I'm going to go watch it after I get done with the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Smallville did that. Cyber, you brought up Smallville. Like, when Brainiac defeated in Smallville, he was like alive and he was saved by like either possessing by someone, like he possessed Chloe in the later seasons to keep himself survive, or like he controls Lex Luthor sometimes, if you've seen like the other stuff like that. So it always happens with Brainiac. That's a good point, Jess.
Did you watch Krypton by chance? I think it was Krypton that came out on like CW or whatever it was.
Sci-fi, yeah.
Sci-fi. And wasn't Brainiac set up to be like the villain for like the next season that never got made?
No, he was like the first season.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched it. Jeez Louise. Yeah. Okay. All right then. Lobo was in that, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Lobo's the shit.
Hell yeah, dude. Shit. And that was a really great portrayal of Lobo. All right, sorry, I derailed. I'm done.
Great job. All right, ratings. Start with you, Jesse. What out of 10?
Well, give it a 9. I mean, as far as these that I've seen so far with you guys, I'm not watching these constantly. So far, I mean, this is going to be a 9 out of 10 for me. I mean, it could vary if I get something that's better than this. There may be something better out there, but I'll go with 9 right now. That's pretty high, but I'll do it.
Andres.
10 out of 10 for me. Okay. Look, there's two things that I love about my life as a DC fan: Brainiac and Supergirl, and that's what I got for this movie. So I was very happy. If you are so tired of seeing the same thing with Superman, Lex Luthor or General Zod, I recommend this and Superman vs. the Elite, another great DC animation film that we review as well. I think this is what you want to see for a Superman film, and that's why I'm excited for the James Gunn film. He's really doing somewhat like that, kind of what I want to see. And I was very happy this movie that you see a little bit of other comic book characters like Steve Lumber, who was voiced by the Batman Brave Bull actor, who is awesome. Love that. And Jimmy Olsen was great here. I love that they used the Superman watch. I was so happy they did that. 10 out of 10. I love Brainiac. He's one of my personal favorite DC villain, and I always going to be happy to see it. And I thought this movie did a really good job at doing justice with this character. As Jesse said before, he could be sometimes hit and miss.
Aston?
I'm gonna give it a 7. I mean, it's a solid 7 for me because I got Mask of the Phantasm as a 9 when it comes to this. So I can't give this more than a 7. I love it. It's good, but I got to give it a 7.
No, I cannot blame you for that. That's the best movie too.
Jeff.
I will give it a 8. Solid film, good watch. Would recommend it to anybody out in the live stream audience that's on X, Twitter, Twitch, for instance, Facebook Live, YouTube, all of those spots. Y'all good ass people. We appreciate you. Feel free to engage with us and comment, of course. But just like all the good ass people in the comment section and in the audience tonight, it's a good ass film. And definitely should watch that shit. Watch it with Zool, baby. Kick it with Zool and watch Superman Unbound, baby. And then wait for Superman Unbound Part 2 so you can see the White Vision, the extended cut.
Good to know. I give it a solid 10, giant 10. This movie was fantastic. It totally uplifted me from, what we had, before. I thought it was a fantastic film, really well done. And I give it a giant 10. I just thought it was really fantastically done. So I give it a 10. And I give a 10 to Zool because Zool is awesome. All right. So the Shogun Award, before I hand it over to Mr. Zool, I am giving everyone the Shogun Award tonight because you all were fucking fantastic and awesome. You all did such a great job, and you all played off of Mr. Zool very well. So you all get the Shogun Award tonight. All right. That is it for this review, guys. Now over to my co-host, Mr. Zool, and he will take us out.
All right. Thank you to Aston for joining us again this evening. We appreciate you, Aston. You've been doing a great job. Great job contributing on the panel. And let's start off with Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy.
Yes, thank you. I want to say this is the best birthday ever. I cannot believe it. I'm talking with my best friends here, Jesse and Austin, talking to my best partners in crime, Cyber and Jeff, and I'm reviewing Super movie with Brainiac, my favorite villain. This is awesome. So yes, this is my channel, Andres Pop Culture Presents. I'm already hit the 1.10 billion subscribers, which is great. Please help me continue to climb. I really appreciate you guys supporting me. Still continue supporting me. The next live stream review will be again a Supreme one, but it's Batman 1989 for his 35th anniversary. It's because it's leading up to Beetlejuice 2 that's coming in September. A little bit of a Tim Burton appreciation month, a little bit. But yeah, and I want to say thank you, Jeff, for joining me on the Guardians of the Galaxy live stream review. You were awesome. Yeah, I just want to say
problem.
thank you, Jeff, for helping me become a better YouTuber. I just want to say that, and I hope I can be continually improving as a content creator. So, but yes, please join me. So I really appreciate you guys' help.
Thanks, Andreas. That's very kind of you. All right. Jesse Starcher, sir.
Yeah. All right.
Material Comics Podcast.
That's right. Listen, I do a podcast about comics. Right there is the Source Material Comics Podcast. We have a few shows on the channel. One of them is the Source Material Comics Podcast, where we talk about comics of any era, usually any story that we can find. We have a good time doing that. I also do Unspoken Issues, which is a 90s comic centric podcast. It's tied in with the Unspoken Decade. So if you guys are a fan of that on Facebook, you probably see them post a lot of stuff about 90s comics. Me and the guys from there get together and talk 90s comics. And then I have Snap Material, which we are in the middle of. And I think I just finished the last episode of that. If you play the mobile card game Marvel Snap, then about once a month, we drop about 4 episodes where me and my buddy Evan get together and we talk about Marvel Snap and we have a good time. So yeah, right there's W2M Network. You can see all the shows that are over there. I'm part of those guys. We hang out, talk to me and Mark, me and Ronnie. We all get together and we talk about, sometimes I get on their movie show. Sometimes I have them come over and talk comics with me. Yeah. Recently Killer Instinct. I did a Source Material. All right. Get this. This is great. All right. I do a lot of stuff with AI. So I took AI, ChatGPT, and I had it read a comic with me and I compared it to what I had what it would say. Like I would straight up throw the pages into ChatGPT and have it tell me what was on the page. And it did a fantastic job. However, there were a couple spots that missed. So you can, that was one of my more interesting shows that I did just by myself, where I read the comic along with ChatGPT and we compared to see how well it did. And believe it or not, it did a great job. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So had a great time. Guys, thank you very much for having me on here. I had a fun time.
Oh, did we lose Aston?
I think we did. Yeah. No. Sewell caught him. No.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
Yeah, Sewell just possess him now, just like Tully and then Diane from Ghostbusters. and he's gonna say, "Are you the Keymaster?" And I was like, "Yeah." And,
sure.
Yeah, sure. I'm the Keymaster. Oh, he's back.
Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. The browser, like literally, it just says I couldn't put my screen back up. So like that, literally first time that ever happened to me. Can you guys hear me? Is everything cool with the audio at least?
You're good.
Yeah,
sorry for that. First time it ever happened that it just dropped on me like that.
No worries, Aston. It happens.
All right, guys. If you would like me as a moderator or on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Threads, Facebook, pretty much anywhere that there's a social media platform. As you can see there, my most recent couple uploads is Fly Me to the Moon review, which is a fantastic rom-com that was super funny. Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson star in it. If you haven't checked out my trailer reaction to Afraid, which is a new Blumhouse film coming out at the end of the month, looks fantastic. Check that out. Just went and saw Borderlands and Trap today. So I put up some mini reviews of that under my shorts. If you haven't checked those out, definitely check those out as well. And yeah, definitely something to check out. I'll be having the full reviews of those up soon eventually with some other stuff. So keep your eyes peeled, keep on adding, keep on subscribing, keep on watching. Thank you very much for keeping us going. Great to have Andreas a part of the 1000 Club. You guys are awesome, and just keep on helping us have fun.
The MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel is a podcast. So folks out there in the audience, if you enjoy what we do here at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge and you like audio podcasts, check out any of the major podcast distribution platforms. We're on all of them, and I'm trying to keep up with our content on the podcast. We're a little bit behind, but I'm trying. I do my best. Thank you to everybody that came on the panel tonight. Thank you, Jesse Starcher. Jesse, it's always good to see you, brother. How's Alexis doing?
She's doing all right. She's still kicking it over there.
All right, tell her I said hello.
I will.
All right. Thank you, Aston. I'll see you soon after the show. We'll do those trailer reactions. Andreas, same thing with you, brother. Happy birthday, man. Cyber, thank you, brother. We appreciate you. And folks, we love all you out there. God bless you. We will see you on Friday for My Cousin Vinny. Cyber will be moderating. Wrath the Con will be in the house. And peace out. We'll see you next time.